Nigeria Info.
Nations.
No, it's the amount of money you're going to use to print one naira note. The same you're going to use to print 10,000 naira note. It's just to add 2 zeros.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And for you to be able to print, a modest quantity of currency of notes that's able to contain the current inflationary trend with high denominations. Now, but the problem is this: when a country gets into it has to print high denominations and circulate, then it tells you that you are in a real hellhole of economic crisis. So it means we are steadily on the road to Zimbabwe, where we saw such thing happen. Yeah. So it's a function of inflation, and one of the ways to respond to it by way of monetary policy will not be to hike interest rate, no. For now, it will be to print new naira notes of high denominations. However, I think I want to see, because once we get to the level, we might never return. So what I would like to see really is what is not actually available, which is making me very optimistic about 2024. What is causing inflation? What are the causative factors of inflation in Nigeria? Inflation in Nigeria is not caused by less money circulation. I don't know why people keep regurgitating this narrative. Yes, there are monies in circulation, but it's in the hands of a few people. So it's not as if you have excess purchasing power. So due to our glutinous taste already developed because you have too much money in your pocket. So we're now chasing too few goods with too much money. That's not the situation. We're barely able to survive. We're just existing on the means of life as we speak. So Nigeria's inflation cannot, by any stretch of imagination, logic, be attributed to excess money circulation. And I don't know why people keep talking about that. And CBN keeps considering high interest rates high to contain it. That's not the kind of inflation you have. That's only applicable when you have demand pull inflation, which I don't.
But then they should know they are the CBN. We have the major think tanks there.
I don't know why our economic managers do not seem to understand simple economics. The reason for inflation is high cost of energy. So what you're experiencing today in Nigeria is cost push inflation. The cost of bread cannot be less than it is today. The person selling that bread must survive in that business because of the increase of electricity, diesel, and petrol for its production, logistics, and supply. It's as simple as that. And so the cost of energy is primarily Nigeria's inflationary trend, which might now mandate the monetary policies to actually print higher denominations to contain it. So when you have 10 pieces of 10,000 in your pocket, that's 100,000. You can go for shopping of quantity of goods and services that ordinarily should have cost probably a tenth of that amount of money. That is what we are faced with. But I'm sure people are not yet aware of this. Usually in Nigeria, when something starts, we'll be looking at solutions until it hits us so hard that we'll now begin to apply fire brigade approach. But I do not want to see a situation where Nigeria will have to print high denomination notes because, again, it takes us to a point.
I mean, haven't we done that before?
That was the reason why you had a 1,000 note. You see, we had steady inflation. It was still manageable at the point. So we are suddenly 5 naira and 10 naira denominations couldn't really buy anything much. One disappeared completely. And so people would have to use 100 naira, 200 naira, and of course 1,000 naira. So at the point where your 100 note might eventually disappear, 15 naira might also go into oblivion. A lot of higher denomination notes that are actually, as it stands now, barely can anything with 100 naira and below. So that's the situation we are faced with. Now, the government does not seem to have a plan at all fixing Nigeria's energy crisis. I don't see it. Like you rightly pointed out, a particular refinery is one that has been talked about over and over. It's as if they want to give us hope that you should start refining petroleum. They will tell we are fixing refineries in Port Harcourt. Yeah. The last time they told us it was mechanical completion, and I raised it, like I said, completing this refinery or not? What is mechanical? And then the second phase will now commence. All these are
because a lot of people wanted to return with, the refinery is now working. Yes, the mechanical aspect has been fixed. Have we said refining in Port Harcourt?
So
no.
That's what we want to see refineries work and produce for us to consume. We don't have these unnecessary boring details. I mean, regaling us with feats of, we dropped 1 million of petrol for crude oil at Dangote's facilities. We're putting 1 million barrels. I'm not coming to this time. We want to see the facilities work. And
but then on that hand, it's also a good update for us to know how many million barrels is Dangote refining. I mean, it gives you that expectation.
These are not information that are supposed to be unnecessarily celebrated. Look, we want to see action, want to see things work. So why don't you wait until you are ready to produce and let's just tell us today we are getting 600,000 barrels of petrol, which will translate into so volume of products for consumption or so that's what we want to see. We want to see tankers and pipelines filled up with refined petroleum from any of these facilities into flow stations, pump stations, depots for Nigerians to have locally refined petrol, which is expected, logically speaking, to be cheaper than one that was imported because they're going to exclude cost of freight, differentials and all that. Before, can I look at, should government also do something in the price by way of subsidizing production for those that are refining? These are conversations that will come after at least we started refining at home. So, again, we are still the hope stage. I mean, we're having hope that Dangote will come up, hope that will come up. We have no concrete plan towards Nigeria's energy crisis problem. And until that problem is solved, until people are able to buy diesel at an affordable price, until people are buying petrol at affordable prices, until people are able to pay for electricity at an affordable price, Nigeria's economy will continue, inflation will continue, unemployment will continue, and we will not even be able to compete globally with cost of production in Nigeria as it is today. So, no brainer at all that I do not really see hope. So, when you look at the budget again, I can't wrap my head around the fact that while our political leaders are asking Nigerians to sacrifice, getting their belts, they have used their belts to feed fat on our common patrimony. It's not enough, for example, that the National Assembly members have budgeted billions to purchase cars for themselves. They've also budgeted 6 billion, 3 billion each for both chambers to build car parks for those hundreds of billions of naira SUVs that they are going to be using in the next 4 years. They're also proposing to build a library and also to equip the existing libraries. So is the National Assembly now Institute of Higher Learning? So a country whose leadership is still this profligate simply tells me that we have leaders that are behaving like drunken sailors that are in charge of a sinking ship.
All right, still pretty grim. We can only hold the picture to brighten up. I don't know what it is. I want to delude myself, but sometimes you want to look at the bright side of things to see if on the economic front, the national front, things to look up in the country. And talking about look up, Itodo started talking also about is it a confusion? Should we be worried? Because people already spread, the price might go up. And they're saying, don't worry too much about it. Itodo, what's the update from that end?
Well, MPC has denied the dispute with market, says subsidy entirely removed. That's been in conversation as if indeed subsidy is removed or we are still paying for that. Now, reports on Wednesday morning had said the national oil clashed with oil marketers over whether the federal government was paying subsidy on petrol or otherwise. In a test statement, the oil firm denied having a fallout with oil marketers. The publication sought confirmation on alleged subsidy reduction to when MPC responded that subsidy had been entirely removed, according to Olufemi Shoneye, the Chief Corporate Communications Officer. Now, in his inauguration speech in May 2023, the president announced that subsidy is gone, end of quote. However, the full implementation of the policy has been marred with doubts, with the World Bank arguing that subsidy removal was partial. On October 9, Mekiari, NMPCL's Group Chief Executive Officer, said the government was not making any under recovery payments. I also said the National Oil Company was recovering its full cost from imported products and that no subsidy whatsoever was being paid. But media reports today broke that the price had been pegged at 1,200 naira, and in good time this was implemented, and a lot of back and forth to how the average Nigerian would be able to cope if that were to happen in the first place.
And so if they're saying subsidy being fully removed, it means that we're seeing fluctuation in the price. It's been consistent some months now, which the logic of that argument, it's on a faulty premise. But if it's indeed they're going with the start of the year, it means we should expect the price of petrol to go up anytime soon.
Okay, trying to make sense of ongoing conversation between independent marketers and the NMPC. We might be a bit complicated. Then let's try and disaggregate some of the issues. Like you rightly pointed out, if subsidy has been removed truly, some of the factors of inflation of PMS appears to favor an upward review of the prices at the pump. So, for example, if foreign exchange has constantly depreciated and crossed the 1,000 naira mark, Abuja and of course parallel market arena, then it's logical to say then how are you importing petrol at the same price when the cost in it has increased because of the foreign exchange difference, which is supposed to have an effect at the pump. So that raises, that's a report that has been consistent in the media, that the government after all has restored it quietly when they realize that their permutation, their calculations, their pontification, whatever it was, they claimed was going to be of the benefit of this reform, didn't quite happen. In fact, the effect is what we saw. And so, knowing that indeed, the level at which the price of people to an institution will not be able to be contained at all by any means. So it could be that maybe government has indeed imposed some form of subsidy, unknown to it, but the mechanism is known to just government alone and NMPC in price management. And there was a statement from the president some time ago when there was this anxiety over imminent increase in price.
Yeah.
When they said price will not be increased for now, meaning there's full of control of the pricing mechanism. Even though at the pump.
Okay, let's take the pump conversation after this break. Stay with us.
Informative, exciting, and stimulating. Nigeria Info, your number one for talk. Let's talk.
My name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
To ensure that you get us clearly and stream seamlessly. If you're wondering, we're on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria in Abuja. Dr. Majeed is here with us, and we're looking at the energy.
The pump price.
So we've noticed adjustments, upward adjustments here and there. Like some places we buy for 640, NPC still sells 670. But we've seen some of this independent market selling us prices that are not very uniform.
Yeah.
So that is true within certain limits of the pricing fluctuation to stabilize. And maybe what the market is actually saying is, look, this price right now are not the real landing cost price of PMS. And for them to be able to import, like as it is now, NPC is the only importer. Because nobody is able to import. Nobody is able to come in to import. Nobody is able to just play in that because of different factors. From foreign exchange fluidity, you go to the market today, but the next time you want to go to the market, you need more naira than you actually sold the last product of to buy foreign to go and import. So it's very uncertain, and nobody is such a very dicey business environment. And so they are saying, look, if NNPC is not subsidizing one way or the other, they couldn't have been selling it. And the fact that they are subsidizing makes it uncommon for them to go and bring in people because they cannot sell at this rate. As long as NPC is selling at this rate, they cannot. So that's the challenge for the government to come out and clarify as to how is it that we are buying petrol at a price that industry players say are no longer realistic. Now, the idea of even a price hack to 1,200 is a nightmare that should never come to pass. And that is why I've always argued that the conversations around subsidy is one that should not have happened at all in the first instance. And I'm sure that Nigerians are seeing it today. Subsidy of petrol, as well as any other vital to the economy, energy product and service, is an essential responsibility of government because it's called energy security. Again, for the purpose of this conversation, energy security is the availability and affordability of energy products and services to citizens. That affordability component makes subsidy a permanent defining feature of energy security. That the government are obligated actually subsidize energy when the factors of production of energy makes the price go beyond affordability threshold. That's what is called affordability threshold for every country. So a country that is a 30,000 naira one wage a month kind of country, government should know that any price above even 150 naira per liter is way above the affordability threshold in Nigeria. And so price shouldn't have been allowed to go beyond that level. Not to talk of the current price, 640 naira per liter, or something about 1,200. That would be an economic disaster waiting to happen. Already, what's happening is disastrous. That's a disastrous form of disaster. I hope that does not happen. So ordinarily, we shouldn't even have this conversation. Government has a responsibility to do this. And if you discover that there's corruption in the administration of subsidy or whatever it is you're talking about, or smuggling, so it's responsible to fix those problems and make sure you deliver affordable energy. So that's PMS, drives Nigeria's economy essentially. And that is why you're having inflation today, because the cost of PMS are short cost of production tremendously in ways that has triggered a cost of living crisis in Nigeria, the worst in living memory. The worst in living memory. So you now begin to understand the solution to our problem will to restore energy security especially the affordability component. But government does not seem willing or eager able to do this. And so all of the policies you're going to have in the coming year will be like pouring water into a basket. Because the foundation, what is supposed to hold the water in that basket, is porous and it is leaking. And it's because energy is to the economy what air or oxygen is to living things. An economy cannot even survive, cannot even exist, cannot even live without energy. The same a human being, for example, cannot stay alive for too long without oxygen. Whereas if you eat the best of food in 1 hour without oxygen, you're likely going to shut down. But you can actually stay for days without food. But once you are breathing, you're alive for a certain number of time. That is how energy is to them. It's so vital, it's so fundamental. And that's why every country in the world has robust energy security policy in place. It's activated at all times to bring down the price of energy below affordability threshold of their citizens. Nigeria cannot be an exception.
But do you see a near future where the price would spike?
If government indeed, okay, put it this way. First, if the Naira keeps depreciating against the dollar, it's a no-brainer. If lots of PMA of crude oil in the international market rises, of course, is a direct proportionate effect that the price of the local, the imported refined products also rise. These are factors that will all continue to drive the prices up. And we have a bit of foreign exchange right now. The country is this floated in Naira against a few votes like ours. I said, you can't float the national currency of a country. That your currency can be determined by market forces. And there are no government in the world that I know of serious, that is of the developed sphere. Talk about the United States, Europe, China, none of them float their national currency. They control it, they peg it. Some are valued deliberately to allow for voluminous export. Some value deliberately to allow for cheaper import. Depends on your national priority. But nobody loads a national currency. I don't know where that idea came from, that you should float the national currency, remove subsidy on petrol. The concomitant effect of this combustible recipe is what you are seeing today. The economic incineration of Nigerian people. So I don't know how we got to this point. Now the government is going to borrow billions of dollars to support the Naira. If floating the Naira was such a good idea, the Naira would have floated back on shore and found its level. Why are you now to borrow to support the Naira? So the Naira needs to support it. Why did you float it?
But you know, at this point, a lot of people are saying we can't help but borrow. And more borrowing at this point in time.
The question is, borrow to do what? Now you floated the Naira. When you floated it, speculation drove the Naira through the roof. It's the dollar.
So that was a bad decision then?
Terrible decision that should not. There's some things behind about in this country. The latest one is subsidy in 190. You started that one again. They've started it again. But that one is also pushed down our throat. And the effect is here. We have palliatives to cushion the effect.
But subsidy on electricity removed.
Well, of the government is saying they're still subsidizing. Even though we may not feel the impact of the cost of the unavailability of electricity. So it's something you cannot really figure out. But I know that we pay very high right now for even the unavailable electricity we consume. We pay so high. So you wonder if this is subsidized, what would be unsubsidized tariff? Look, I'm talking about cost-reflective tariffs. Again, let me remind this government and any government like this thing. I don't know of any in the world where electricity is based on cost-effective tariff. We hear that. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. These are energy sources. Let me tell you. You see, as human beings, God gave us air free of charge to breathe. If you see somebody that requires the aid of a respirator to stay alive, you understand why you need to give God thanks and why God actually gave you the gift of being able to breathe in and breathe out unaided and free of charge, free air. That's because even God knows that, look, for you to just remain alive and be able to hold, you need to breathe in air and breathe out. Now, governments all over the world that are reasonable, that are thinking, know that their productive-based economy require affordable energy sources to remain afloat and remain competitive. So they subsidize a whole of energy products and services for both homes and businesses. So talking about cost-reflective tariff, I don't know of any country where cost-reflective tariff is actually in place. Not America, not UK, not China, not France. I don't know where. So these are the issues. If government can actually cut corruption and waste, you see, they keep praising the president for taking bold decisions. He removed subsidy and put it in there. And I said, there's nothing about abdication of responsibility. Core responsibility, stabilizing the national currency, core responsibility of providing energy security. There's nothing about it. In fact, it is cowardly. Because what the
but it can be to be bold given the system that we operate over time.
Nothing bold about it. You can see the disaster has caused. It's the easiest thing to do. That is, I'm abdicating responsibility. I'm no longer providing money to subsidize pay for you. I'm no longer providing money to support the national currency. It's the easiest thing to do. In fact, most of our leaders were a little bit charitable to say, well, we have faith in other aspects, but this one does not abruptly remove it because this will send people down the hellhole of bottom economic hopelessness. So we are a bit circumspect. But a man said, gone. And today we are still talking about the same issue 7 months later, the same issue. So the bold thing that he should have done, what would have been called us from, was for the president on May 29, 2023, on assumption of office, to look at his colleagues in the face, look at the governors, look at the elite, and say, hey guys, it's time to commit class suicide. It's time to end our privileges of corruption and profligacy. It's time to cut waste. It is time to sit down and manage the Nigeria problem. That would have been the difficult, outrageous, as well as bold decision to be taken by a leader. To say, look, when I had the opportunity to buy official cars for my wife, even though she's not an official government appointee, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put down on my own comfort and on my own taste. I'm going to come down on anything that's going to...
Yeah.
I'm going to put an end to corruption as much as I can, so that we'll be able to manage the meager resources we have prudently to kickstart the country that was already down because of the 8 years of Bush administration. That would have been the bold decision. That would have been what Nigeria should play as a bold decision, as a clear decision.
Okay.
Not decision to remove subsidy pain on Nigerians. Why living on government subsidy as president, governors, and legislators?
Now, one would ask that what difference has the removal in terms of the money saved for the 7 months since it was removed made in the lives of Nigerians? And also, you mentioned cutting down on corruption and waste. The argument would be these are necessities and basics for these government officials to fulfill the requirements of their office. And if these things are cut down, there would be like a holdback in terms of what they're meant to do and how they're meant to function.
They don't need SUVs to pass laws in the National Assembly. Technology has made it so easy for you to stay there and actually carry out oversight function in places as far-flung as Bayelsa, as Borno, as Chipukpa, as Tua from Abuja. Technology. You don't need SUV, you don't need all these huge pay packages to work. It is a responsibility on the part of the political leadership in Nigeria. You don't need it. In fact, all of the pay they are receiving, all the perks of office they are receiving, has not even made the impact, necessary impact, in terms of city delivery in public sector. We've not seen it at all. Talking about the impact of the first subsidy removal, nothing. In terms of positives, absolutely nothing. It's negative or true. Now, the monies that have been saved, which has increased monthly allocation to states, now people don't even understand that. In real terms, these monies are actually a reduction in value. People don't seem to understand this. Because the float of the Naira has pushed the Naira over 1,000 mark to the dollar. What that means is that all of this Naira you say you've saved, has become worthless. So 1 Naira, for example, in 20...
Maybe not, but the value has depreciated.
No, within the context of our conversation. Because some other people think that they have more money. The money is worthless. Because 1 trillion Naira in 2023, January, is of more value if you impute the exchange rate 400 Naira plus at the official market rate, or even 700 Naira at the parallel market, is almost between 60% higher in value than 2 trillion of 2024 January. So what has been gained? So what gains would have made eroded by the devaluation of the Naira? And to those profligacy, waste and corruption in government has deprived Nigerians, even the benefit example, that would have come by way of improvement in infrastructure, improvement in educational facilities, improvement in health. So it's double jeopardy for Nigerian people. Not that there has been no gain. I want those that are not in government, those, heads in Nigeria, those who look up to as those who give us the right narratives. But those of them who propagated this orthodoxy of subsidy removal and floating on the Naira, can they swallow the humble pie, come back on the public stage, tell us and admit that this didn't work, and that we need the paradigm from what we have now?
Well, there are a lot of people who would drag in here because, like you pointed out, Dr. Majeed, it felt like a national consensus.
Yeah, it was.
The narrative had gone on consistently for a long
more than 2 decades.
Believing that if it is removed, it solves all of our problems, half the problem. But now we see that we're still right in the middle of the problem.
No, we're not in the middle problem. We are now at the tail end of the problem because it's become worse. So if where we were yesterday, you can say, okay, to prevent from getting worse, it has gotten worse.
So from government perspective, it might give them some breathing room.
What is the breathing room? Are they still not borrowing? Are they still not making borrowing plans? What has been the impact? What is the impact of quality service delivery? What is the percentage of this national budget for education? It's less than 3%. On health, Now, how the money saved, how has it been utilized to kickstart local production of PMS and other associated hydrocarbon products and derivatives? What have we seen? Nothing. And so when you don't know where you're going to, you know where you're coming from. Where you're coming from is from a place where subsidy was removed completely. And the effect of what we are seeing today. And some of us advised against this consistently, that this was not a solution. And if what Nigerians need now is more solution. Let me tell you something. We'll read history. Let me go back, just recent history, 2008. Obama became president of the United States of America. He met a government, he met a country that was in economic crisis. The country was ruling from serious crisis. In fact, there was a global economic, especially they called it now.
Economic,
something, I've forgotten the terminology.
Global economic recession,
something of that nature. Something. Now, two things happened. When Obama came in, that was the first head of bailout as an economic. You know what that means? Rather than say, let us suffer some more and later we'll enjoy. There's something like that in any sincere economic plan. He bought a federal government funds to bail out companies.
They had it.
Why did they have it? Because that of the president of America is $400. Block. No more, no less. That's take care of his feeding, his clothing, and everything. There's no waste, there's no profit in America. For all of the noise, all of the cushion, or I don't know, or what you want to look at, that Donald Trump has been through. Not a single allegation against Donald Trump of stealing public funds. Are you aware? Not one. That is even somebody who's not the worst that America could present as president. Even though I have my respect for him, I'm one of his great fans. But for those of you who think that Trump was something that should have happened to America, not even Trump has been accused of American public fund. Not $1. It tells you why they're able to bring that on. So do this. You can't maintain a system that is corrupt and wasteful. And you're looking at where the problem is. Well, problem is right there. You are part of the problem is right with you. No, I'm saying cut waste corruption, and you can do this.
Well, that's one aspect we still haven't quite adjusted to. But the executive, the legislature, state levels, and all of that, we still see that excessive
It's a fundamental requirement.
And that's a lot of outrage when COP28 happened. And
something like that.
Really?
What exactly did you go there to do? This like, okay, now, the vaccines from COP, all the benefits, blah, blah, blah. We have benefits. What how do you do this?
All right.
So these are the issues, really. So we should insist on a government that is intake-based, that will uphold the Constitution, that will do things right. We have to insist. These solutions are not far-fetched. We are not, it does not so different about us. It's a leadership problem. And until we feel that leadership problem, no policy will work. We'll keep having this intellectual exercise year in, year out, without a solution.
Well, let's get to feel the pulse of the listener to our conversation. There are lots of messages sitting on our Facebook and YouTube page already.
All right, going on to Facebook right now. Umar Abba says the energy crisis in Nigeria is a result of poor funding of the power sector, non-settlement of electricity bill, corruption, and shutting down of major power plants due to infrastructural decay, non-performance. Dr. Majeed, what exactly is the way out? Because people like you must be in the government and no accuse, is what Ambassador Umar Abba is saying. And Yusuf Hassan says, I think we are going to have a better energy situation given the coming on board of Dangote and Port Harcourt refineries, amongst others. Going on to WhatsApp, this says, what is the difference now? Told us it's because of the fuel subsidy, what the government is paying that led to borrowing. The subsidy has been removed, but we are still borrowing. Does this make any sense? Is a question that John P. in Abuja is asking. And this says, is it the government doesn't listen to Nigeria Info? Why can't they have vests from Dr. Majeed's lectures to better our economy? There is no eye of wisdom paying senior advice, jumbo salaries, doing next to nothing. Whereas week in, week out, you churn out free lectures aiming at putting our economy by the last administration back on track. Nice hearing from our Dr. Stami in 2024. Well, the issues are too many, from insecurity to power and now subsidy. My question is this government that removed subsidy different from the previous government? How can you say that subsidy is gone and yet you're still paying? What kind of manipulation is that? In all, I think we have been deceived. How much have we saved so far? Is the kind of fresh prince in Wuseto is asking. And Prosper says, comments by IMF is like taking the mask off. This are different from the transatlantic slavery. And, okay, I read your message on Facebook already. Happy New Year, Dr. Majeed. Let's not say anything negative yet, but I may tell you the truth. Nigeria's problem is too much to bear. Or to bear. And Abubakar Ali from PW Kuba says, I think you're trying to remember the 2008 global economic. Thank you for bringing that up. While Skedo in Livecam says, but we were told that removing subsidy will be what happened in the telecom sector. We buy and go from refineries. We use greater time and energy to rush to the media and celebrate. Please, what is mechanical completion? Either your refinery is working or not. Simple. A senator, governor, or SGF is celebrating birthday, it becomes a national event. The brazen and boastfulness of this government is annoying. Yet they boast out the New Year message, is what the Patriot is saying. And now to rise and take back our country is your thought. I don't see your name added to that message. While finally, Elder Olatu Richard says, our major issue is corruption else. Happy New Year, my people. That's pretty much it on this end.
All right. Let's look at a few on Facebook. Quite a number of people were concerned about the audio quality, which is, I believe, better by now. Yeah, seeing that no more complaints coming. Omar Abba Mohammed.
I took that already.
You took that?
Yes.
At Facebook?
Yeah, come on.
And YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube now.
Let's see if we have anything on YouTube. Okay. Still talking to the engineers. Okay, click melts down. Audio quality. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. Let's get to the line. So take a few thoughts quickly before we get to the news time. 0700 951 0000 or 0959748869. Or you can call us via WhatsApp on 0999 30137.
Good done.
Dr. Majeed.
Afternoon, sir.
Happy New Year, sir. Good afternoon to the Itodo and the Ochanyawa. My name is Salasi.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much.
What understood by this fuel subsidy? This government just came and increased fuel price. There wasn't anything like like subsidy is gone. They came and increased the fuel price because if they remove this as of then, we would have been buying fuel at 700 or 600 naira. You could imagine what they would want and the government. The fuel price will increase to 750 per liter. Because we have been going and we still go to the World Bank now, to borrow money. And that is why they decide on the economy of this country. So the good thing is, once the president is actually fuel subsidy, I see fuel price. Currently, you are talking of cutting costs. Can this learn from Zambia and Malawi president? You see what have placed you. Don't consider me again to be rich. Why allowing this high cost of a living? I remember in 2012 how people gather in Lagos to find Nigeria. Hey, they should kill corruption, not something. Where are those people? Where are the Terry? Where are the Professor Walesha? Many people that were gathering.
All right.
Where are now?
All right, Salati. Thank you very much. Let's move on to, I think it's time to hear caller before Joy.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. My name is calling from Jabi. Actually, I agree with the conversation you have with Dr. Majeed. It's right. But actually, we will continue narrating the same thing in radio, newspaper, and the government officials, they don't care. The cool rooms sharing the currency, that is the dollar. From the removed subsidy, how many billions did we make? What did the government do with the money? If you ask them, they will tell you they do palliative to 36 state governors, 5 billion. If that is the case, let them take back 5 billion to them, to the government that gives the state governors to get the subsidy back to where it is. This is the only thing, benefit of democracy. This is the only thing that Nigerian people are benefiting. They use their own political maneuver to maneuver the brains of Nigerians. We are in a serious problem of insecurity in the democratic dispensation in Nigeria. We use women, ethnicity, and tribalism on the respect of the insecurity, which is not like that. It's not the truth. And that is what all the politicians are talking about. The problem we have at hand, we say we need democracy and we are not ready to get democracy at the right time. Those states that able to get the democracy at the right time, they didn't lay the foundation to be solid foundation without tribalism, ethnicity, and religion. They now put the foundation, ethnicity, ethnicity, religions, and so many things. That is why we are having conflict. We need that money of that city to go and sort out of our problem of security in Nigeria and our own Nigerian people to have access to the market and get the good food to eat. And get our something doing so that we will have a peace in the democratic dispensation. Thank you very much. Keep doing what you are doing and doing it very well. This is my take.
All right.
Thank you very much for your take with us. And there's no commercial break. We might as well take another phone call quickly.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chairman Itodo.
Welcome, sir. What's your name, sir?
This is Comrade Haruna from you.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon to Dr. Majeed and Happy New Year.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Majeed, let me first of all thank you. I watched you live yesterday AIT to analyze what's happening in Plateau. That is a nation building. I'm calling you a statesman. All right, sir. Chair.
Yes.
Happy New Year and Happy New Year. This is my first time calling Nigeria for 2024.
Thank you very much.
All right. Dr. Majeed, please, I just want to ask you this. And the question is, if Nigeria starts using our crude oil, is it going to reflect or is it going to reduce the cost of PMS from the filling station? That is one. Then, issue of power supply that Mr. President promised. What is the way out? Can we have a permanent solution to this epilepsy of all we are facing in this country for over 20 years? Thank you very much and have a nice celebration.
All right. He has thrown the question to Dr. Majeed because NMT perhaps is not giving him the answer he wants. A lot of people are asking that,
Ordinarily, when you refine petrol at home as an oil producing country, price should be below affordability threshold. You see, NMT is saying different. Now, even it won't bring down the price because the system
guarantee the price reduction is what Gary said.
Let me just say this. Subsidy must be in place, even when you find locally. That is why a country like Saudi Arabia will not how much they are using to subsidize petroleum. It's not something. It's not your business really as a citizen. The same way as a child, it's not your business to know what your father does, provide you with bread and butter and tea every morning. That is what governments do. In France subsidize electricity because they have a state-owned electricity company. Nobody knows. It's really people don't speculate. Nobody knows for sure how much France spends every day to subsidize electricity. It's a national economic security information known to the government. But people speculate that as much as 50 billion euros are spent per annum. Okay, the other day, Germany announced that for 2023 they're going to spend 83 billion euros to subsidize electricity across board. So it depends. That means that government must find a way of between they and the refiners, either government-owned refiners or private-owned refineries. You have to know with them to look at what do I do to you? What do I give to you? Including tax breaks, tax exemptions, including cash deposits. What do I give to you to make petrol available at 200 per litre? Because what we calculate, what we estimate to be the affordability threshold for citizens. It is the responsibility of government. And government does not even need to give too much details. What we want to see the results. So it should bring down the price because they can now control all of the factors of production. Since we're endowed with hydrocarbon, it is fallacy. That is illogical to tell me that if we find Nigerian petrol at home, it should not be, to be still the same price you know that brought from Rotterdam in Europe. What sense does it make? Because
what's the capacity of refining? Okay, well, if you're looking at bottom from Dangote to Port Harcourt refinery, you should be able to make some significant difference.
It makes no sense to tell me that if you refine Nigerian crude at Nigeria by Nigerian refinery, even down the price, what kind of system are you operating? Why Toyota in Nigeria the same price that the Japan buys it in Japan? So it doesn't make sense. These are responsibilities of government. And this of power. One way out is that, thank God, the president did one that was good between him and the former president. They signed the enabling legislative framework that allows states to generate, distribute, and transmit electricity within their spheres of territorial influence. Please, Mr. President, call a National Executive Economic Council meeting. Tell your governors, go and kickstart their own investment in power generation in their states. So that the pressure on federal government can reduce. States should be able to do that. They cannot do that, then they're useless. It's as simple as that. You cannot provide power for your own people. Not that you've given the enabling law. What else can you do?
All right. Let's go on a very quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
This is Nigeria Informed.